Everyone, so after I did my video on video game trilogies that I thought were worthy of a remaster, I decided, you know what, there's other games I got here that aren't part of a trilogy, but are also deserving of a remaster. But what I found is that there's pretty much two entries, or at least there's one entry and then a different game of a completely separate IP. However, in a lot of ways, it's a spiritual successor. So, if you think the game Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, how, you know, they're pretty much the same kind of gameplay, just with a different storyline and new characters and whatnot, well, those games also got remastered and got put in a pack together. And so I thought, what other games do we have out there that I think would definitely be worthy of a remaster? Now, keep in mind, some of these are definitely more plausible to get remade than others, but at the end of the day, it's more or less kind of just a wish list of mine. But anyway, let's go into this anyway. So, in no particular order, or any particular generation of games, I'm going to say The Suffering, and I got most of these games in physical format, but I thought, should I show them to everyone? And then I realized, no one really cares anyway. But you have Google if you need to look up any of these games. So, The Suffering, 1 and 2. So these are games that came out on the PS2 and the original Xbox. The first one is backwards compatible with the 360, so, just for trivia, the second one is not, of course. Both these games, though, did have very good enhanced ports on PC only. And I do have them, but I suck at keyboard and mouse. I'm basically handicapped in that department. So I wish I could put a controller to it, but it doesn't have controller support. So this is a game series that I'm really hoping gets remastered. I think it's very good and it is worthy of a remaster. It's essentially a horror survival game, except it's not in the sense of like Resident Evil, I'm talking old school Resident Evil, or the Silent Hill games. It's kind of similar to Fear, in the sense that you're a tough guy capable of taking on all these monsters, except unlike Fear, this game is in third person. But you start off on a island prison and you need to escape. There's monsters and shit like that. This is a very, very, dubbed down version of the plot. And after you do escape, you then wind up in, where was it? I believe it was Detroit, I think. Please don't crucify me if I got the location wrong. But that's basically, it's like a hood-based style setup of the city, which is getting run down as well by similar monsters to what you encountered in the first game. So I thought the second game wasn't quite as good as the first game, despite the fact there were some better mechanically enhanced stuff to it, but still a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, and I really hope that eventually they either get remastered or at very least added to the backwards compatibility list for the Xbox One and Series X, because I think being upscaled the way that they do, they would look really, really awesome. Because trying to play Part 2 on the original Xbox, or probably even the PS2 through an AV cable, it's kind of blurry, and it's just, I don't know, but by modern standards, I'm kind of like, I'm enjoying it, but man, I wish this was clearer. But anyway, moving on. The other stuff on this list is Shadows of the Damned and Lollipop Chainsaw. Now, I never really got into Lollipop Chainsaw because personally I'm not really that big into hack and slash games. There are exceptions to every rule, because I loved Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and it's hack and slash, but I'm like, it's a lightsaber, I need this. But either way, if they were to remaster both of those and chuck them in a pack together, I think that would be a really good sell, especially since, for some odd reason, if we're going by the backwards compatibility list on Xbox, Shadows of the Damned is on there, but some reason not Lollipop Chainsaw, despite the fact it's essentially, like, Shadows of the Damned is your shooter, and Lollipop Chainsaw is the hack and slash, but they're both very much in similar vein in regards to their concepts and themes and, stuff like that. So I just say, hey, if Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls can get bundled together in a pack and be remastered, it was more of an enhanced port than anything. Hey, why not with Shadows of the Damned? That was a great game. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, I heard. No, I don't give a fuck what you heard. Play the game for yourself and make up your own mind. Same with Lollipop Chainsaw. A lot of people thought, oh, it's just some stupid hack and slash game for girls. No, I know a lot of guys that have played the game, really enjoyed the game, and I just think there's a lot of content there for people to really get into and have fun with, okay? Keep in mind, even though I'm not the biggest fan of hack and slash games, I can still look at a game and tell if it's a decent put together product. And I think both of these games are. And the fact that they were both made by Sudo51, I hope I'm pronouncing that company name right, it makes sense that these games should be together. And even if it was just a enhanced port, not a full-blown reskinning remaster, I'd still be okay with that, because at least with Shadows of the Dam, there's a lot of blurry kind of stuff going on, and so yeah, if they just sharpen up the graphics and up the frame rate a little bit, that's really all I need for me to have a much more pleasant experience while playing the game. So that one's on the list. The next one is The Darkness 1 and 2. Now, The Darkness 1, I feel is a very underrated game, and it's actually one of my absolute, of all the FPS games that are on the 360 and the PS3, like that generation, The Darkness is my favorite. And I know the correct answer apparently was supposed to be, no, it's meant to be a Call of Duty game that you love more, or some other one of the more popular games. But sorry, I really, really loved The Darkness. Part 2, even though you could do more with the Darkness powers, because it's about a character that gets possessed by an entity that basically, he's able to have these, what do you say? I don't know, maybe not X-Men powers, but some supernatural powers, to an extent. And with the ability to open up black holes and, rip people's hearts out with these tentacle little monsters coming out of his back and blah blah blah. And the problem, though, is that a lot of people, I'm not saying you specifically, but if you've heard of Zero Punctuation, before he became Zero Punctuation, his very first review was on the demo for the Darkness game. Unfortunately, a lot of people out there seem to take his word as the gospel, whereas I do find him entertaining. I just kind of, view it more like comedy than an actual comprehensive review. And you can still laugh at him hating on a game and still love it. And so the problem is that a lot of people, at least in the past, that I said, hey, you should check out The Darkness, it's really good. And they're like, oh, but Yahtzee said, fuck me. Okay, you sheep, don't bother thinking for yourself or going out and playing the game for yourself. Also, he reviewed the demo, which I didn't play, but, it might be different to the actual finished product. And I thought the game was really great. It had a really awesome tone to it, it had amazing music, it had a good storyline. I don't know how close it is to the comics because I never read those, but I just going by the game on its own merits, and I thought, the game was really, really good. And then a different company, however, made the second game, which I didn't get into that much. I didn't like the graphics, because they were trying to make it more comic book style, which I think would have been a much better decision had they did that from the first game. But like I said, Starbreeze was the ones that made the original game, and if you've ever played the Chronicles of Riddick games, it's the same engine that they made it off, and so, very similar graphics. And so I thought, yeah, I really can't see in any foreseeable future these games being remastered or even having an enhanced port. The only little bit of possibility that I have to go on is maybe with the first game. Apologies if you can hear dogs barking outside, it's a common occurrence around here, but anyway. The only reason I think maybe the first game could at least warrant getting a remaster is because Starbreeze have also remastered other games of theirs, such as, Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay, which then was bundled in with, was it the Assault on Dark Athena one, and, blah blah blah. So, if they're going to do that one, I think it does make sense to chuck the second one in there as well, because the second game's still pretty fun, I just didn't like it anywhere near as much as the first game. So, if you could get on that somewhere, sometime, any company that may be watching this video, I'd appreciate that a lot. Let's see, next one on this list is Condemned 1 and Condemned 2. Also, just quickly with The Darkness, yeah, both those games are on the backwards compatibility list for Xbox One, so, so yes, Condemned 1 and Condemned 2. Now, the first Condemned game is on the backwards compatibility list, but the second game isn't. I don't know why that is. Maybe there's a slightly different licensing issue, because I know that the first game was a 360 exclusive and a PC exclusive, so essentially it means it's a Microsoft exclusive. It was also a very good launch title. The second game came to those consoles, or platforms rather, and also the PS3. So I just thought maybe there was a different licensing thing going on, and that's why it's not on this backwards compatibility list. So yeah, I still think if they were to get around remastering those, it would be pretty awesome, because there's some untapped potential there, and I really wanted a third installment for that, because the campaign for part 2 left on a cliffhanger, but due to lack of sales, because the game didn't have the best multiplayer, and at the time it came out, everything had to all be about multiplayer. Not much has changed in my opinion, but I'm just saying, there's still a marketplace out there for good single-player story-driven games, and so, that's it. I just, if I was in a company, I'd be like, yes, remaster those games, please. The other one on this list is Black Ops 1 and 2. Now I know that the game World at War is also part of that same timeline and story arc, because Black Ops 1 is actually, if you didn't know, a sequel to World at War. The thing that connects them, if you play the campaign, is the character Reznov. So when Black Ops came out, that was actually a sequel to World at War, and they decided to, go with a different approach to make it a bit more story-driven and have, just play both games, okay, and you'll know the difference between their tone and themes. But like I said, because this is just a double pack remaster video I'm wanting to make, and these two are basically connected through name, and they're also both on the same generation, because Part 3 was, of course, an Xbox One title, whereas the first two only exist on the previous generation. So I do think that there is a huge market for these games if they remaster them. Even if they just remaster the campaign and that's it, I still think that they would sell really well, because there are people out there like me that love playing the campaign. No, I don't play multiplayer at all. Like, if it's Mario Kart and I'm doing it locally within the house, fine. But I don't play like online with people all around the world, and so I'm just saying, if you're someone that only plays campaigns or plays campaigns and the multiplayer, I still see these games selling well. But of course, if you're just a multiplayer person, fair enough, that's your prerogative. I just think that there's still enough people out there that would want these games just for the campaign. Modern Warfare 2 apparently sold really well, and that lacked the multiplayer, so I'm pretty sure the Black Ops games can sell well, and Part 2 is my favourite COD game of all time, if we're just going with the campaign. So, yeah, I would really love that. But, at this point it just seems that they're only remastering the Infinity Ward Call of Duty games, so maybe in the near future they'll add the Triarch ones to that, but, we'll see. The next one, I am going to save the best one for last, or rather the most popular one for last, and I'm constantly looking down because I wrote out a list in case I forget anything, which usually happens with me. These are GameCube titles, and this is Star Fox Adventures and Star Fox Assault. I pretty much only just wanted Star Fox Adventures, but because, everyone seems to be OCD with these sort of videos, I had to add another one in there to make it a double pack thing. And so since those are the only two titles of Star Fox games that came to the GameCube, I figured, why not bundle them together? Despite the fact that, Rare, at least that's what they were called back, Rareware is what they were called at the time, made Star Fox Adventures, and Namco were the company that made Star Fox Assault. Well, they're still both Star Fox games, so, since they're also owned by Nintendo, that might be the thing that's able to connect them together and bundle them in a case or whatever. Or even if they even if they just, for some reason in the future, on the Nintendo Switch, add an emulating program that'll allow you to be able to play all the back catalogue of Nintendo titles, but also adding GameCube on there, that's good enough for me. If they just port it, it would be great, because I can play it through a HDMI port and then see it in less pixelated resolution. So seeing that game in high def, I think, would be really, really awesome. And a lot of people shat on Star Fox Adventures, also known as Star Fox Dinosaur Planet, when it came out, because it wasn't like a usual Star Fox rail shooter. And I'm like, yeah, it's not. It's a spiritual successor to Ocarina of Time. Your point? So, yeah, I don't know why people have to compare titles of games to other sort of games. I just say, is the game good on its own merits? And in my opinion, yes. Is it a little bit different to Ocarina of Time? Absolutely. Is it still a really great, amazing looking game? I think yes. I had a lot of fun playing it. I really loved it. I loved the music. I loved the direction that they took the storyline and everything. They did have to really cheap out on the final boss fight and then repurpose it to a different boss. In case no one's played the game, I'm not going to say it to ruin it, but yeah. Towards the end, they did rush it to get it out by a certain time, but the journey getting there was really fun, and so I personally would love to see that game remastered or ported to the Switch. Along with Star Fox Assault, which that game was not bad. I love the space flying segments, but there's other parts where you get out and walk on foot which weren't mechanically pleasant, to say the least, but, whatever. Anyway, moving on to this list. Fallout 3 and New Vegas bundled together, that shit would sell like that, provided that they remaster the games. I don't think you have to do like the most glorious and amazing remaster ever, but if they did it like the way that they remastered Skyrim, that's all you really need to do. And of course, what I think actually now would equate to having a much better chances for New Vegas being the one that gets remastered is the fact that Microsoft now own Bethesda and Obsidian, and so Microsoft can call the shots and say, no, we want both these games remastered, bundled in a pack together with all the DLC, because you have to do it with all the DLC. I mean, come on. And then release it to the public. I'd buy the shit out of that. And yes, I am someone that loves New Vegas more than all the other games, but I still really like all the other games, including number 1 and 2. I haven't yet played Fallout Tactics, but anyway, I'm just saying that I'm not one of those people that detains others that like different Fallout games and says, no, you must like New Vegas more because of these reasons. I got my own reasons for liking New Vegas more, but if you like number 3 or 4, any of the others better, awesome. That's great. But like I said, I still love Part 3, and so to see that remastered, that would be pretty awesome. But unfortunately, the closest thing that you can get to that game to a remaster on official channels, I'm not talking about the mods on the PC, that's kind of a given, but it would be to play it on a Xbox One X or Series X, because that game is One X enhanced, which of course means that it's Series X enhanced. And the game actually does play way better than it does on a 360. For what I understand, the game also had its issues on the PS3, but I played Fallout 3 and New Vegas on the Xbox One X, and then also recently the Series X. I'm telling you, loading times are way quicker. When you fast travel, it's almost instantaneous, and that's if you're traveling from the furthest end of the map to the other side of the map. Even though the New Vegas is not 1X enhanced, it still runs way better, because when I'm playing it on my 360, every 40 fucking minutes, the game will start to lag, and then 10 minutes after the lag started, it froze. So at least I got a heads up. I knew when the game started lagging more than what you'd usually expect for a game of that magnitude on that console, it was going to freeze. So my point is that yes, if they do remake these games, just give it the Skyrim treatment. I'm not asking for a hell of a lot, just just a little bit of touching up would be fine. So I don't really know what else to say about that. Just Fallout 3 and New Vegas are amazing. Please remaster those games, bundle them together. I would buy them. I'm sure a lot of you people out there watching this video that are fans of those games would go out and buy it. So yeah, that's pretty much all the games that I could think of that could potentially be remastered, or at least worthy of a remaster / enhanced port in a double pack together. So yeah. I suppose the only other one I can think of that I could mention, this is a little bonus one, I didn't plan this, I just wrote it down, I only just thought of it just then, would be GoldenEye 64. Yes, that game got leaked. Yes, you can play it on the PC. No, I can't get the fucking program Xenia operating on my laptop because it likes a certain fucking card or graphics card or some shit. Anyway, all I know is I've got shit missing and I can't fucking play it, so I'll find a workaround eventually, but all I know is that since the game is leaked and millions of people have already downloaded it, this seems like a lot of untapped potential that Microsoft are not capitalizing on. So all I know is this. I know there are a lot of people involved with the licensing and everything like that. If they just give everyone their cut, they're going to get more than what they are now, and people can go and get it for free. But despite the fact that, yes, it is technically available for free, but that's only on PC, I do know a lot of people, myself included, that do prefer playing games of this nature on a console. And that's fine, that's my choice. If you're a PC-only person, awesome. If you're a console-only person, awesome. I'm just saying, even if this game was currently released only on through official channels, and for whatever reason it was PC only, well, you're going to rake in a lot more money with people buying the game if you put it to console. So if they were to bundle that in with Perfect Dark, yes, I know Perfect Dark's already available, but, I'm just saying, they're very similar games, obviously, both made by Rare, both first-person shooters of, a similar mechanics and all that, so, yeah. If people have never been introduced to Perfect Dark before, just say, have Perfect Dark as a standalone, have GoldenEye as a standalone, but, bundle them together as well and actually offer maybe like a 20% off amount on it or whatever. I don't know. That's just what I would be doing if I was calling the shots, but, I'm not, unfortunately. I'm just the guy that, wishes that I had GoldenEye to play, but here we are. So, yeah, darn. Heartbreak. Anyway, that about wraps this up, so, yeah. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you guys have a great day. Go play some games.